Obituaries this morning brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Annie R. Neely, age 88 of Sylacauga, died Monday, September 14th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Visitation for Miss Annie will be Saturday, September 26th from 10 until 11 at Mount Pisgah Missionary Baptist Church. That's on U.S. Highway 231 in Titus, Alabama. It'll be followed by a graveside service at 11 in the cemetery. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. And funeral service for Mrs. Peggy Floyd of Sylacauga will be Friday at 2 p.m. from the Sanctuary Church with the Reverend Freddie Edwards officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation tonight at Curtis & Son North from 5 until 7 p.m. As an expression of sympathy, memorial contribution can be directed to the Sanctuary Church, P.O. Box 853, Sylacauga 35150. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. David Cunningham died at his residence in Childersburg on Wednesday. Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel will announce the arrangements there. And Mr. Dewey Knox died at his residence in Sylacauga on Tuesday, and funeral service for Mr. Knox will be Saturday, a graveside service at 11 a.m. from Evergreen Cemetery. That's on Highway 21 here in Sylacauga. Mr. Knox, an accomplished musician, died at the age of 66 at his residence on Tuesday. Curtis & Son Funeral Home announcing the arrangements. And funeral service for Mr. Willie James Stone, age 70, will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from Curtis & Son North, with burial in the Harpersville Cemetery. Visitation on Saturday morning from 10 until 11 at the funeral home, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. And funeral service for Effie Ford will be Friday at 2 p.m. from Vincent Revival Center, with burial in the Vincent City Cemetery. Visitation will be noon until 2 at the church on Friday. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. And Mr. Michael Chad Carroll, age 41, died September 10th. Family receiving friends 2 until 3 Saturday at Talladega Funeral Home, followed by a memorial service at 3, Talladega Funeral Home, directing. Celebration live for Mrs. Carolyn Yvonne Hamilton, age 67, is Friday at 11 o'clock from Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. The Reverend Kendall Burton officiating. Visitation is today from 1 until 8 o'clock with the family hour 6 until 8 at Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga. Mrs. Hamilton died September 9th at her residence, Community Funeral Home, directing. In other obituary news this morning, graveside service for Mr. Willie James Jackson is 11 o'clock Saturday at New Life Memorial Gardens. In the event of inclement weather, the service will be held at Wright's Funeral Home Chapel. Mr. Jackson died at Russell Medical Center on September 12th. The station Friday from 4 until 6 o'clock at the funeral home, Wright's Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Flora Mae Graham is 1 o'clock today at Friendship Baptist Church, with interment following in the church cemetery. Visitation was yesterday, Wright's Funeral Home, directing. Mr. James Slaughter died September 9th, Limeville Health Care and Rehab, Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, directing. Mr. Jordan Holly, formerly of Alexander City, died September 15th in Marietta, Florida. Wright's Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. And funeral service for Mr. Gerald Dwayne McDaniel, age 85, of Alexander City, is Friday at 11 from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Randy Anderson and Dr. Josh Salmons officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends prior to the service, 9:30 till 10:30 on Friday at Radley Funeral Home. Mr. McDaniel died September 14th at his residence, Radley Funeral Home, directing. And funeral service for Mr. Howell Timothy Tim Dark. That service was held yesterday. And Mr. Bradley Stephen Salter died September 12th at his residence. Radley Funeral Home will announce the funeral arrangements. These obituaries brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.